Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your good guy here, PrinceOnyx, and I am here to give my review. Ooh, my bad. I'm here to give my review for Minority Report episode. I believe this is no, it's not 6. It is episode 7, and it is honor among thieves. And so basically, what this episode is about. Well, let's go ahead and let's get into it, shall we? So, basically, the episode started off with a flashback of when not the teens, my bad, you guys. The episode started off with the precogs when they were taken out of the pre-crime program when the pre-crime program was being shut down. And so the flashback is where Wally he wakes Dash up, and then Dash is basically like in shock in a sense because he doesn't know where he's at. He wants to know what's going on, and he just pretty much I think he was letting him know that like it's time for you guys to go home basically. So they were in physical therapy, learning how to walk again and sit and just learning how to do all the type of physical stuff that they need to learn how to do. And so then they were taken downstairs to this. They were taken downstairs and they saw like all the stuff, from the office, everything from pre-crime, the pre-crime unit. They saw everything, have the plastic wrap over it. Just, they were just wondering, okay, what do we? They were pretty much, asking the agents, and these are the agents from the that was Periscope. Anyway, they were at, I forgot where. I think crap. The agents, they were from the DIA. Yes, I think they're the same ones from the DIA. And so basically, they were just asking them like, where do we go? Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, like this is their first time being regular in a sense because all of their life they've been, in this milk bath. They've been in this milk bath just pretty much stopping crime or whatever, stopping murder. So they just like they were so confused as to like, well, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? And so that they were just telling them, oh, you guys can buy a car or whatever, and they're just like, but we don't know how to drive. And then the one bitch, she, with an attitude, she was like, oh, I suggest you learn. Like, damn, no mercy at all, no sympathy at all, no sympathy or empathy at all. Like, goddamn, like the rudeness. Anyway, so they're now in the present where we are seeing a vision where a man is being murdered. And I believe, let me see. Yeah, they were seeing a man being murdered, and so Laura and Dash, they ran as soon as they could to try to stop the murder from happening. Because as soon as they saw it, they, were on the dot, and it's like the murder took place at 9:45, and they got there at 9:41, and it was too late. So it was too late. They thought that they had more time, but they were too late. This was the first time ever that they've been late to stopping the murder from happening. So they were both a little bit sad. They were both sad about it, but Dash was more so sad about it because it was just like once. Because the thing is, once they got let out of the pre-crime program, the triplets they still were having visions. It's just that they could never intervene back in the day, which is something I'm gonna have to be all over the place for a minute. Well, more than a minute. But basically, in this episode, it has a lot of different flashbacks, and one flashback in particular, it showed how Dash, in a sense, he was acting like how Arthur is acting now, and Arthur was acting like how Dash is acting now. So basically, it was in the past. They pretty much were at a bar and they were just talking about their plans as to okay, what are we gonna do because now that we're done with whatever, like they weren't being too loud so nobody knew that they were like precogs, but they were pretty much just like okay, well what are we gonna do now because it's like this is basically our second chance at life in a sense. So yeah, this is like our basically our second chance at life or whatever. So hold on, trying to put it on pause. No, it's not. God damn. Anyway, so yeah, they were just wondering what were they gonna do, and so this one guy, this drunk guy, he was just being such an asshole to them and to the bartender, who was a female, and so they ended up getting into a fight with him because he was disrespecting them, but also disrespecting the bartender. And then Dash and Arthur just got up out of there quickly, and then all of a sudden when they got to the front of the bar, Arthur and Dash together were having a vision at the same time of the bartender being choked out and killed in the back of the bar. And so Arthur, he was about to run to go stop the murder from happening because he didn't want her to die because behind this whole fight or whatever. But Dash, surprisingly enough, was telling him don't do it. He was basically holding him back. And so what ended up happening is because Agatha, she came through eventually, and she was just like, it's too late or whatever. And so Arthur, he ran back. He ran to the back. He saw that it was too late. The bartender was dead and on the floor, and well, on the ground rather. And he was just so heartbroken, so disheartened. He was very emotional. He was upset. He was just really mad that they didn't stop her from being killed. And basically Dash and Agatha were basically letting him know that had he would have tried to stop this, then they would have been exposed, and who knows what could have happened to them. So they ended up leaving and driving in a car, and then basically this episode gave a little insight as to why Arthur became the guy, the man who he is today. And Dash, it also showed that, at one point he was acting just like Arthur is acting now. He was the one who was more so against stopping people from being murdered, whereas Arthur was the one who wanted to help stop people from being murdered, even though they were no longer a part of the pre-crime unit. It's just that, they were tired of seeing innocent lives being taken from them. And so, it really showed a lot between the two brothers. As far as Agatha, she's still the same as she was back then. So, to be honest with you, Agatha's character is like, sometimes you can't stand her, but then you love her at the same, well, not really necessarily love her, but you like her in the same sense. She's kind of like a necessary evil, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because it's like, because she's the main one who's really against, Dash being in cahoots with Laura and this whole, working with the cops and stuff like that. But I get where she's coming from, and there's like she herself has an interesting life since she's still living on the island that I guess all three of them, from what I would assume, all three of them had lived on at some point, and then the two brothers went off into the live in Washington D.C. So she stayed there, and it's like in a previous episode, or I think it was 2 episodes ago, where she ended up getting this guy killed at the end of the episode because he was like a bad guy, and I believe she knew that he was going to do something bad. He was going to murder somebody. So she, in a sense, prevented that from happening or whatever. So in the sense, she's a necessary evil because it's like you need her. It's like, we need her, but in the same sense, it's just like, oh, here go this bitch again. So it's kind of like that. So she's a very interesting character. So pretty much, then you have Dash and Laura going to Arthur, who was out talking with some guy, I think from Japan or whatever, on a watch, and he's out with his assistant, of course. And oh wait, never mind, because I'm rewatching the episode right now. Yeah, it was just Dash and Arthur talking. Laura wasn't with them. Basically, it was a one-on-one talk, and he was just letting him know how they lost the guy from who they were trying to save or whatever. And of course, Arthur, because again, the way that their powers work, Arthur, he knows the name, he knows the necessary information. Name, location and address are kind of the same. Name, location, time. I think that's pretty much it. He knows the necessary stuff to help you identify the person. Even though he also sees the visions, he sees the visions as well of the person getting killed, but he knows their background information, their biographical information. And then Agatha, she becomes the person, and she dies as the person dies. Not her herself dies, but when she becomes the person, it's kind of like being an actress in a sense. So it's she dies, and it's end scene, and then she comes back to being her regular self. And then you have Dash, who sees the visions and sees the person basically being killed. But again, all three of them see the person being killed, but it's broken down in a different way. You know what I'm saying? It's broken. Their powers are broken down in a different way. So, So yeah, pretty much there was that, and then I think it was they ended up getting into. Damn it! I should really probably turn this down. I really probably should. My bad. Hold on. There we go. So yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to remember because of this. I'm trying to make this this weekend, you guys. I'm just really trying to get these reviews out. I'm a little bit tired. I got some major projects I need to take care of for school, and again, dealing with post production because we're almost done. So, because starting Monday is the countdown for the private screening, the premiere. So yeah, I'm just trying to get these reviews out. This is like a crash course type of thing. So anyway, long story short, y'all, because I'm all over the place, but just to pretty much wrap things up in a nutshell, they went after like this mob boss or somebody like this big crime guy, and pretty much Dash decided that he wanted to be the hero for a change, and he decided to go in alone without Laura, Aquila, or anybody helping him. So he went in alone, and he ended up getting snatched up. And so what ends up happening is that they end up bringing Arthur into the situation because it's like, we need your brother. He got, the motherfucker got snatched up. And so, Arthur, because he knows these shiesty business guys, he goes to one who knows pretty much, he's like the go-to guy in a sense. It's like, if you need to know where somebody is at, or, somebody who's close to you got into some shady business and you want to get them out, he's the guy that you go to. Now, he went to the guy, and the guy let him know that Dash isn't dead per se, but it's like, if I were you, I would hurry up. And so, Arthur, he ends up getting an envelope that has Dash's pinky finger in it. And so after they, take it back to Wally to make sure that that's actually Dash's finger, the analysis comes back, yes, that's his finger. And so it's just like, holy shit, like, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, oh my god, like, y'all better hurry up and go get him. So we find out that Dash is somewhere in like a rundown, I want to say it was a bowling alley or some shit like that, some gritty, dirty, gritty, grimy, dark place, and he was tied up, hands tied behind his back, and this black guy who I think works for these shiesty crime boss, crime lord guys or whatever, he was basically about to kill Dash. But then this woman who Dash met earlier, she pretty much had came to him, and she had a gun, and she was pretty much about to kill him because she knew that she ends up knowing that he's the one who killed her husband. And, yeah, it's like, he's the one who ends up killing her husband. And so, shit, it's just like she wanted revenge on him. And so, because the guy was basically about to kill Dash. And she was just like, if you kill him, you're going to have to kill me too. That's when she pulls out her gun, and she ends up firing on his ass and killing him. And basically, the cops end up busting through. Again, I know that I'm leaving a lot of stuff out, but I'm just trying to get this video out. So, not to say that this week's episode was boring, because it wasn't. It was really good. It's just, I got so much shit going on this weekend going into this upcoming week. So just bear with me. But anyway, and if you hear like noise in the background or whatever, like noise, I got the fan going because it started to get a little hot in here. But anyway, like I was saying, so they end up finding where he is located, where Dash is located, and the cops come through, bust in and raid the place. They save the woman, because she had got like grazed on her arm or whatever. They patch her up, and Dash was just telling them, don't arrest her because she saved my life. And so, I don't think that they ended up arresting her, I guess, because they pretty much was like, oh yeah, it was self-defense, whatever. And in the end, because this is the future we're talking about, the year 2065, they were able to reattach his pinky, and the doctor was just saying, like, just be careful for the next few hours, don't be quick to take a shower, just be careful. So, yeah, and also the flashbacks took place in the year 2054, and it was exactly 2 months after pre-crime. So again, with the flashbacks, I really appreciate them for letting us into what was going. I really appreciate them letting us into more of the three siblings, like what happened, what made them who they are today. And again, it showed that at one point the roles were switched in a sense for Arthur and Dash, whereas Arthur he was acting like how Dash is acting today, and Dash was acting just like how Arthur was acting today. And Dash was acting just like how Arthur was acting, back then. And Agatha is still the same bitch, So, you know, she's still the same bitch who we love to not, who we like to hate. Because, like, you know, again, she's a necessary evil. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, but yeah, they saved the day, and you know, because Laura, she was throughout the episode, she was really panicking because it's like, you know, oh shit, you know, we can't afford to lose him. Like, what if something happens to him? What if he get killed? Like, it was just so many what ifs, and it was just like it was a race against the clock because it was just like all again, it was just so much crazy shit going on. So for those of you all who do watch the episode, let me know in the comment section, you know, your thoughts on this week's episode. The things that I did leave out, please put them in the comment section. Let's, you know, talk things out. And I will see you all in a little bit with my Rosewood review. And that is all I have for now. And I will see you guys later. Peace. Gotta love Minority Report.